Welcome to VADA Live, where we connect with the voices shaping Virginia's automotive industry. I'm your host, Dan Carrigan. For this edition, we're speaking with a leader who's made a significant impact both in the industry and his community. Dave Perno, president of Loyalty Automotive, was recently named Virginia's Time Dealer of the Year for 2025. Congratulations, Dave. From his early days working in his father's dealership to leading a successful business today, Dave, you made an impact that is well known throughout the state of Virginia and beyond, that extends just beyond the showroom, industry-wide, really. We're thrilled to chat with you today. Dave, thanks for taking time to speak with us, and welcome to VADA Live. How are you?
Dan, thanks you very much, but boy, was that an introduction.
We tried. There's a lot to go through, Dave, and we'll speak to the length of this segment. We have a number of questions to ask you, and I know last time as we were actually planning this, you were returning from a trip overseas. I want to ask, how was that?
Well, actually, that trip was a trip to check out some locations in Paris to see if we'd like to take our kids and grandkids there for Christmas next year. We took them all to London last year, and it was a fabulous trip. So we were checking Paris to see if that's what we want to do. And unfortunately, Paris didn't make the cut, so we're going to have to continue looking for another location. Paris was a great time, don't get me wrong. But, for example, we were in a concert, and during the concert, they varied a little bit on the Christmas carols, and they had their own interpretation. And then a fellow would come out in the middle of the presentation, and he would speak to the audience, and it would be, we had no clue what he was saying. So we need to go back to English-speaking countries to figure out how we can entertain the kids.
That is, and feel free to keep us updated as you travel more. I know you often are out and about, and I guess the news here really is congrats to you again on being named Virginia's Time Dealer of the Year. What was your first reaction receiving the honor?
You know, we were kind of blown away, and you know, I asked Don when he called me, and he told me. I said, "Why? You know, why us? What did we do?" And it really, I mean, it was just business as usual for us that we did what we did and won the award. But truly, this award is the 350 people that work here. It's not me. You know, they're the ones that generate all of the goodwill in the community and do a phenomenal job. So we'll represent the 350 loyalty employees, but it's theirs to win. You know, I'm just going there to pick up the award if we get it.
And what, as far as that award, I mean, really does that mean to you and your organization? If you put that a fine point on that, a single sentence, what do you think that really represents?
Well, it's just validation that what you do every day is appreciated by, you know, your peers and by the community and by, you know, the people that you work with every day. It's pretty nifty.
And part of this interview and speaking with you and your time in the business, and I'd love to start really from the beginning in a way. And we had recently shared, and you had spoken just crediting your father and family with shaping your career. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? How has that foundation influenced really your leadership style and business coming up that way?
Well, my father was a Ford dealer in Chicago. He bought the franchise when I was 14 years old. It was actually a new point. But I was 14 years old, started working for him right away, sweeping floors and washing cars and doing the things that you do. Worked for him throughout high school and into college. He eventually sold the dealership, but the plan all along was we were going to be in business together down the road. So unfortunately, he passed away a few years after that, but I was able to take that memory of those ideas and those plans and put it together with my partners that are here today, my sons and my partners, all 40-somethings, all poised to have the Loyalty Automotive Group go on for another 20 years or so.
What is it like working with family? And within this question too, Dave, are there any tips for dealers that you can share too?
About family?
Yes.
So they all complain to their mother about how difficult their father is to work with.
Oh, no.
And their poor mother has to say, you know, don't put me in the middle, but she gets put in the middle all the time. But really, it's really nifty. And Ryan joined us right out of college. He was my younger son. Sean joined us a little bit later after I bought my partners out in 2014. When I bought my partners out and Sean realized that maybe there was something to this, he decided to join us after having about 10 years out of college. So different stages of development. They both worked through every department in the dealership. They've worked in service, body shop, parts, acquisition, F&I, you name it. They've done it. Sean was a Top Gun salesperson at the Volkswagen store. He currently is the general sales manager at our Toyota store. Ryan operates the used car operation down in Petersburg. So it's tremendously rewarding. They're next gen, and they're going to take the company for the next 20 years.
And speaking of employees, in a number of ways, supporting them is something I know you value. How do you create that environment where staff can really thrive and grow within your business?
You try and give them guardrails. Because I've been in the business for so long, I've experienced a lot of things that they have not. So you try and give them guardrails and say, stay within this area, and then give them their head. Let them do what they want to do. Let them experiment. Let them make mistakes. Let them grow. The employees have the greatest ideas. We don't have them. The employees do. They come up with the ideas to further the business or to grow the business. We just get to go along for the ride, really.
And as far as employee engagement goes, do you think there is anything dealers often overlook in this area?
People. They overlook their people, and they try and save a buck. The only advice I would give people from my experience is take care of the people that work for you. You take care of the people that work for you, they'll take care of your customers. And if they take care of your customers, you'll just continue to grow and have repeat and referral customers.
And it's really from scholarships to school supplies. Speaking of people, you make community service really a cornerstone of your work and a passion area. Talk to me a little bit about that, and how do you engage your team in those efforts?
Well, for example, we've been donating to the Central District high schools for years, probably 15 years at this point, typically through athletics, through football. We sponsor the teams by giving them concussion-resistant helmets to try and keep the kids safe, because there's too much that can happen to them if they don't have it. And believe it or not, it's Virginia Tech that came up with the grading system. So we buy them the 5-star helmets. We do 10 to 20 helmets per year per school. The reason you don't do more than that is because they don't want them all expiring at the same time. A helmet is no good after, say, 6-7 years. So they don't want to have to replace 100 helmets all at one time. But the way to engage the employees in it is, number one, we go to the games. We have a lot of fun. We do halftime kicks. We sit with the people in the stands and just have a good time.
Is there any reaction from a community member that you remember that helps motivate your efforts, that sticks in your mind throughout all these years?
One year at one of the high schools, we had a fella that just bugged the heck out of the coach to do the halftime kick. And he practiced every single day. Special needs student. Practiced every single day and got so good he could make 9 out of 10 field goals from the 20. And he ended up kicking the field goal, and it ended in the bed of the truck. So because of that, he was eligible for a $10,000 scholarship to college.
Wow. That's amazing. Appreciate you, Dave, taking time to share about you, your team, working with family and efforts. As part of chatting with you as well, it's the beginning of the year, a time of recording. So with 2025, it feels like well underway at this point. What concerns you? What opportunities do you see for dealers in 2025? Where's your mind really at this moment?
I think there's a tremendous amount of opportunity this year. I think that a lot of the manufacturers have gotten through the COVID period of time. They have their inventory production back up. Toyota's a little bit soft in inventory levels, but the rest of them are back to normal. So there's going to be a lot of turnover in franchises. There's a lot of dealers that are aging out and they don't have a succession plan in place. So the opportunities for organizations like mine are really tremendous. And we see that there'll be some franchises available to us to expand the group.
And as far as succession planning goes, knowing the importance of that as well, anything you want to get out there, any words of advice potentially really regarding succession planning, or perhaps how important it is for dealers to really make that part of their planning long term?
It's unbelievably important to get it done and get it done early so that you can protect your business for whoever you want your successors to be. So we have been planning on this for a long period of time. I've got partners in my stores that are in their 40s. Like I said, my sons are in the stores in their 40s, and they're poised, with VADA's help, of course, to be able to continue if something were to happen to me.
And one question, industry related, Dave, many Americans facing financial challenges, part of the car buying experience now, including that difficulty making payments. Your take on that reality, anything dealers can do or even help tell their customers when they may be facing a potential payment that's X number of dollars, and that's percentage wise much higher than they would have encountered in the past?
Well, they probably peaked, a little while ago in 2023. We've got interest rates coming down. We've got incentives that are increasing, and supply and demand is going to force the pricing down again. So monthly payments are going to start to come down, over this year, and I would think by next year they'll be down even further.
Love to ask you about EVs, Dave. Many watching this will recall that Loyalty hosted last year's announcement, during which Governor Glenn Youngkin here in Virginia announced the end of the California electric vehicle mandate in our state. Our friends at Cox Automotive forecast that 1 out of every 4 vehicles sold this year will be electrified. What's your take? Are you that optimistic?
The key word there is electrified. It isn't EV. It isn't BEV. It's electrified. So electrified includes hybrid vehicles. Toyota, for example, sells almost 50% of their vehicles as hybrids today. Unfortunately, Nissan's a little bit behind the curve there. Our first hybrid from Nissan won't be available until next year. But remember, Nissan was the first manufacturer to come out with an EV when they introduced the Leaf almost 15 years ago. So the 25%, I think, could end up being conservative, including hybrids.
Cox also noted, appreciate you sharing that, Dave. Cox also noted that buyer satisfaction will improve this year. How do you believe dealers should interpret and react to that news?
I think they should embrace it. I think that they should do everything they can to try and improve it even more. Obviously, we talked about repeats and referrals a little while ago, and that happens only because of the buyer satisfaction. If you cannot improve your buyer satisfaction, you're going to start to erode at your base.
And what advice would you give fellow dealers just navigating the evolving automotive landscape? Where would you recommend everyone be thinking from your point of view and experience going into 2025?
I think that the franchise car dealer is the strongest it's ever been, and that the franchise car dealer helps. What we've been talking about is in the community and with the employees, where the publics don't do that. The OEMs don't do that. It's the franchise dealers, and we are tremendously inventive at continuing to keep our industry on top.
And Dave, one final question. Are you looking forward to NADA's show in New Orleans this year? Will you be attending? Just for everyone's a reminder, you may have seen a VADA. There's a joint association reception with Virginia, Maryland, and a Washington area, New Orleans. But Dave, will you be there? What are you looking forward to?
Well, I am going to be there. The Time Dealer of the Year award selection will be happening there, and the 49 different selectees will be driven down into 4 regional and then 1 national. So our 350 people want us, of course, to be the national winner. So I'll be there that day, and I'll also attend the VADA reception. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Dave, appreciate your time. I know I said one final question, but I will make this one 100% the last. Anything you want to leave folks just watching, either about you, Loyalty, or just the state automotive industry for the full year?
We're tremendously bullish on this year. We think that we're going to grow not only in volume, but in profits this year. as a result of what we have in place today. We think that next year will be even greater. So we're tremendously excited for the industry. We're tremendously excited for this year. Our people are poised for greatness, and we're looking forward to it.
Dave, thank you again for sharing just your journey, insights, background, and advice, really. Appreciate your time. Thank you again for joining VADA Live. Before we go, I want to remind everyone that the annual NADA show, just around the corner at the time of recording, taking place in New Orleans. VADA will proudly join associations again from Maryland, Washington area for a joint reception. You can learn more at VADA.com. I'd like to thank Dave Perno again for his time. Thank you, Dave, and thank you for watching VADA Live. I'm Dan Carrigan. See you next time.